I hooked up with another man after my ex dumped me. It made him furious.
Weren't you broken up?
I was in a relationship for almost 2 years during college, 21 months to be exact, and had made future plans on doing so many things together and spoke about marriage and children. I got dumped last summer, the same day I found out my grandfather passed away. An absolute shock on both ends. By the way, this comes from Hopeful Recover, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. He wanted to focus on himself, and distance was going to be difficult. He decided to go to a different continent for an internship, and we wouldn't see each other for 6 months. Plus, I would graduate a year earlier than he was. Another reason for him taking this internship was because he messed up his semester by taking too many classes and getting high every day. A month later, he messages me and tells me that another reason he broke up with me was because he got feelings for some girl while we were together, that he met once at some street fair. I was completely floored by this because this girl and him were just acquaintances and they never spoke to each other. And then all of a sudden he decides to dump me because he thinks she could be the one? In the coming few weeks, he would tell me about how much he liked this girl and how he wanted to take her places and hope she liked him back too. And he had a feeling that she did. Fast forward to 3 months later where I'm in my last year of classes and I hooked up with a guy that we both knew. This guy was someone he had issues with and was insecure over, as I had liked this guy before. Full disclosure, I lost all feelings for him completely after a few months and did not have any romantic inclinations once my ex and I got together. Ex found out about it before I had the chance to speak to him about it and went ballistic, saying that I should have had the courtesy to tell him about it, and how could I have effed the one guy he had issues with.
Oh my god, you're not together anymore.
Of course, looking back, it has been a year since this incident. I do agree that it was a mistake, and I wish I never did it. But we were both wasted then, and both were single. Doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. You weren't with your partner at that time.
And he dumped you.
He dumped you for another girl.
Yeah. That started during your relationship.
Yeah. I don't think he has any right to, cast judgment on you. I wish I did say something to my ex sooner and just given him a heads up, but I did not, and I accept that. Ex removed me from all social media accounts, and we didn't speak from September to February. Ex then comes back from his internship, and I hear that he hasn't pursued the girl that he dumped me for, and on my birthday, someone brings his name up, and I start full on crying because I realize I still miss and love him. He hears and decides to meet me and starts an on and off relationship. Feelings for that girl somewhat diminished, but still is a small thing. Then he decides that there's another girl who he's been talking to and is a friend of his who he hasn't met in almost 10 years that he thinks might also be someone he could like. Needless to say, he and I would be fighting every other week because I still loved him and was willing to give him a chance after all that had happened. I thought he loved me too, but he would still bring up how I hooked up with the other guy and guilted me into that being the state we were in. We decided to end our relationship in the summer. This past summer, we were driving to go somewhere, and this was my first time driving on a highway for a long period. And I almost successfully made it to my destination. We got into a small fender bender, but thankfully all parties were okay. A month after that accident, which my family doesn't know happened, and I have not driven since, because every time I think I'm ready, I start feeling very panicky. He messages me saying I should have been more careful while driving. You were driving with him?
Yes, because obviously they did not listen at all, and they're still talking. Actually, I have no idea. I have no idea.
Or after? Okay. Even though the cop told both him and me that it was the other person's fault, and I had done the right thing by braking on time at the light. Still, I carried a lot of guilt from that accident, and to hear someone say that maybe I should have realized how much someone was worth after they passed away got to me. And he decides to remove me from all social media accounts again and cuts off contact. I started drinking heavily every weekend and wasn't sure how to handle all the guilt that came from the accident, as he is the last person I would want to get hurt in an accident, and I lost even more confidence in my driving and how we ended. I considered therapy and still am to cope over this. Fast forward to a few weeks ago when I get a message from him where he asks how I'm doing and makes small talk. He apologizes for the comment he made about the accident and said that it was not my fault and he shouldn't have handled it the way that he did, as this could have been our chance to strengthen our bond, but he chose otherwise. He joined therapy for some of his issues too, which I was happy about, because he has someone to speak to and help him. We spoke here and there some more, him messaging almost always except one time where I wished him for a holiday. He would say things like how he missed me and it felt so different for him to be in the last year of school while I wasn't there. I miss him too, but I wasn't sure what I could do because we weren't living in the same area anymore, and he was applying for jobs all over the country. He also just fought with me so much, and I just didn't think it made sense to feed into something that could end up hurting both of us again.
Right. So we're not gonna go back then.
So we're gonna stay broken up, right?
We're not going back.
We're gonna stay apart because you had a bad relationship and he broke up with you for another girl.
Right?
A few days ago, he messages me and said some of the nastiest things I've heard in my life. Said I was a gardening tool and a sleut for screwing up some guy that got in the way of our relationship, even after I hooked up with said person after we broke up, and wished I would pass away. He said I was a terrible person and had no idea how relationships worked, and he was the one guy who was everything for me, and I couldn't find anyone better. I didn't respond to him because I was on vacation, but he messaged me again the next day asking why I hadn't responded and how I wasn't brave enough to say anything or face my issues.
She doesn't owe you a response.
You're not together.
You don't get the right to her time.
Not true, as I am a pretty outspoken person and did not want to say something, or else he would twist my words and continue arguing some more. I am trying to be more mature, but he doesn't seem to like that. I have always told him that I regretted what I did and have apologized numerous times and am not sure what I can say at this point. I forgave him for how he broke up with me while I was grieving over a death and when he liked the girl. This time, however, I just said that I said whatever that needed to be said before and wished him well for his future. Nice, OP.
Yay!
Yay! He blocked my number, so I don't think he got my message, and has blocked me on Facebook as well. His brother removed me from social media too. Is all of this my fault? I have numerous friends who have told me that he is acting immature over all that he has done to me, but I still feel guilty that I didn't say anything when I hooked up with a guy. You don't owe him.
Nope.
That actually would be crazy. That would actually be crazy if you texted your ex and was like, hey, I hooked up with this guy.
Or texted you like a warrant. If you were like, just so you know, tonight, like,
I'm hooking up with that guy that I liked before our relationship. And I already know that I should have and wished I never did it in the first place. No, you should not have.
You have nothing to apologize from this and nothing to
Stop.
regret from this.
Stop
he is
apologizing.
manipulating you.
By the way, I would never manipulate you guys into listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio of your own free will. I won't manipulate you into doing it. But there is a little bit left to this story. Do you have any final thoughts?
Oh, I mean, if he block him back just in case he unblocks
Block
you.
him back.
Block him back.
And stop feeling bad for things that happen after your relationship when he left you to go hook up with another girl.
And admitted to having started that while you were still dating. Because you were broken up when you did what you did. He was dating you still.
He was dating you. Yikes. But there's a little bit left to the story. I met a couple of friends this past weekend from college and found out that my ex has been going around telling people about the nasty things he texted me. He apparently wrote a rap song too about me. Should I feel honored or laugh at the time? He was wasted. I was really angry to begin with because I was still obviously hurt, but then I realized that this definitely would not have worked in the long term. And I'm glad he showed his true colors, even if it was almost 2 years into the relationship. I'm also going to start therapy soon just to deal with how much emotional baggage he unloaded on me, as well as coping with my accident. And that is the end of that story. My boyfriend's family looks down on me because I didn't come from money.
Get rich and prove them all wrong.
I am 28 female Hispanic American who met my boyfriend, let's call him Brian, 32 male, 5 years ago on a backpacking trip in South America. We did the long distance thing and it worked out well because I was finishing up my studies and he was looking for a job. By the way, this comes from the throwaway girl in NL, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, his parents have always had reservations against me, especially his mom. She comes from a blue blood family and wanted her son to marry into money. I don't come from money. My parents came from a Caribbean country to New York and worked hard for what they have. It's not much, but we have our essentials. Upon realizing our relationship was serious and we wanted to live in the same country, I decided to move to the Netherlands. For him to live in New York, we'd have to be married, and we don't want to rush into marriage when we're not as financially stable as we'd like to be. This was 2 years ago, and we wanted to live together first. It was easier for me to move to the Netherlands because there is a relationship visa that only requires him to have a stable job. No marriage needed. We planned this move for 2 years, upon which in that time, Brian lost his job and I couldn't move, so we had to wait another year. In that last year, my dad had an aggressive battle with cancer and passed away a few months ago. Words cannot express the amount of pain, stress, and depression in these last few years because of this. I actually moved last December to the Netherlands. Due to regulations and a lot of crap with visa stuff, long story, I had to move, despite me wanting to stay because of my dad's declining health. I visited a few times and made it back the day before he passed away, thankfully. I made it work though. I enrolled in university to go for my master's. I am starting Dutch lessons, started seeing a psych, slowly but surely. I'm trying to make a good life here. His parents are still very harsh towards me. They thought this would be a typical vacation romance. His mother is nice to me in person, but witches to Brian about how different I am, how our cultures clash, how he needs to be careful that I'm not out for money. She calmed down about this lately, but it is resurfacing. Now that I live here, it's like I need to rush to be a typical Dutch person. I need to have a job, know the language. They frown upon me and constantly worry Brian that I'm not doing what I need to do. Brian feels stuck in the middle, constantly defending me, but seeing where his mom comes from. This past weekend, his father, 65 male, was in a terrible bike accident. As someone who just lost her dad, I am there for my boyfriend who is struggling as his life hangs by a thread. My heart breaks for him, and I can see and understand what Brian is going through. His father lives in a different city, so every day we've been commuting to visit him. Wow. His mother tells me not to visit anymore because his father has too many guests. The house is too busy for her to entertain us when they're not in the hospital, etc. I understand that and respect that, but then I find out that my Brian's younger brother Joey's 30 male girlfriend, let's call her Marianne, 27 female, is not only allowed to visit, but she even stayed over at their home. She is Dutch, and his mom constantly showers her with compliments and tells the family what a perfect example of a Dutch girl she is because she comes from a good family, has a good job, and is perfect.
Are we sure that this is because you make less money and not just because you're not Dutch?
Yeah, I think we got a little bit of xenophobia going on over here. Is it crazy for me to think I'm being treated differently? Girl.
No, you are.
You are being treated differently. Very blatantly so. I don't think she's trying to hide that.
She's not hiding it.
Right now, I want to be there for Brian, but I feel like his family pushes me away and doesn't want me to. The way they treat me hurts a lot, and I feel like I haven't done anything wrong to rub them the right way. Brian and I have a good relationship with a few turbulent problems. Granted, I am the first girl he's been serious with, lived with, while I have had plenty of experience in those departments, but I moved here for a reason. I want to make a life with him, and I'm willing to work on our problems, but it seems like his family just doesn't want to accept me. I don't really know what to do. I feel paralyzed in my emotions. Sometimes I wonder if I should just go back to New York. Right now, I can't. I'm in the middle of my master's program, so I'm at least here for the year. The last few years have been so hard, especially with the death of my father, feeling lonely and alone here in a country that is so culturally different. I'm trying hard to make it work here, but sometimes I feel doubtful. Just so everyone knows, I understand and respect that his family is all over the place because of his dad's condition. I've felt like this even beforehand. It's just aggravated now, especially that I would think that they'd be open and understanding that I want to be there for my guy in such a hard time. Another thing to note, things recently got stirred up starting with his older brother's birthday. Let's call him Harry, 35 male, a few weeks ago. I had this terrible bronchitis that flared up, and though I had RSVP'd to attend, I canceled at the last minute because I didn't feel well. And I wanted to use my energy to finish a final exam essay I had due in 2 days. This was just a family dinner at home. It wasn't some huge lavish event. I felt okay canceling, but his parents and his brother found me offensive to cancel last minute for something that wasn't that big of a deal in their eyes.
They probably would have had a problem if you went too.
You had bronchitis and they were like, why didn't you come?
Yeah, and if you went, they would have been like, you came with bronchitis?
You can't win.
It's a lose-lose.
You can't win. Duchess Cassandra says, learn Dutch in secret.
She was learning it too,
She
right?
was, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, wow, no, they're just being super xenophobic towards OP. I had to email them this long apology because they were upset at me and were yelling at Brian about it for so many days. Now, today for Easter, my boyfriend and I had plans for an at-home dinner. Easter is very meaningful to my family, and this is the first Easter I am away from home and that my dad isn't around. The plan was that tomorrow we go to his family for the Easter Monday dinner at their home. They celebrate Easter Monday here in the Netherlands. Now, his dad's condition got worse last night, and Harry drove him and my Brian to his mom's house in case something happened. I was told again not to come. Yet Marianne came along, stayed over, and is there to support Joey. I mean, I think at this point, like, your partner really needs to...
Yeah, needs to put a stop to this. Something, I mean, there needs to be that very out there, like, hey, what are you doing? Yeah. And, like, I am with this person and stop. Like,
please, like, we live together. We're serious.
Yeah.
She's not just going to go away. You can't keep treating her like this.
And to now miss the Easter that, like, means so much to you.
Yeah. Yeah. This is...
I don't, like, it's really not necessarily, like, it's not like a breakup. Like, things are going great in your relationship. Yeah. It's just like
it's a conversation.
Yeah. And he needs to have the spine to go back to his family and say
like,
it.
I think it's tricky right now because it is, like, obviously the dad is in the hospital and stuff.
But, like, say, well, hey, Marianne's here. Yeah. Why couldn't my girlfriend come?
Yeah.
On a holiday that I was supposed to celebrate. On a holiday that I was supposed to celebrate with her.
Yeah.
Because she just lost her father.
Yeah. And Red Bull Rana says, what is xenophobic? Xenophobia is when you have prejudice towards a person from a different country. We're going to get into more of the story. Then Harry said the plan was that they would see their dad in the afternoon for Easter today and that he'd drive Brian over so we could spend time together since I was alone. Brian calls me 30 minutes later to say Harry changed his mind, and since the whole family is together anyway, that they will have dinner at their mom's house and that Brian would come home late. So even though I prepared something, and this coming from the guy who says canceling last minute is wrong, does it to me and doesn't see anything wrong in it. They keep saying don't come, and just now they say if I want to come to take a 2-hour train ride over. Meanwhile, Marianne is being picked up to be taken there, and I have to spend a crap load of money to get out there. And he says the whole family is together. Yeah, except me. I don't feel that is very nice at all, and that is what motivated me to write this post. What do you guys think? And update. There is an update, folks. But what do you think? What does OP do?
Oh, it comes back to, like, your partner, not husband. Your partner needs to be like, hey, she is coming to these things. Like I am with her long term. We are living together. Like, this is serious. And if the mom doesn't, or if any of the family doesn't get that, like, I don't even know if you go, like, low contact with them, or because that's also the only people you know in that country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What would you do?
Yeah, I think you just have that conversation with your partner and you say, like, I'm alone here.
Yeah.
I need you to step up for me because no one else is going to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to, but
you're actually trying and you're actually trying to learn Dutch, you're actually trying to get a job, like, you're putting in the work, and they're just, they don't care.
But there is an update. Someone made a point about how Brian's mom may see me this way because it seems like I'm mooching off her son. I can understand why you may think this. I foolishly forgot to mention my job situation. Prior to moving to the Netherlands the first time, I saved a lot of cash. Bartending, waitressing, and writing, whilst finishing my undergrad. I had 4 long-term freelance writing jobs that dwindled down to 1 as of January 2015. Yes, my guy handles the main bills, but I contribute for groceries, dates, my personal things, school, etc. However, after my dad passed away, I took a leave of absence from work, and I'm still on this leave considering how unbelievably time-consuming my thesis is. About the situation with my boyfriend and his mom, I mentioned that I made an anonymous post to my boyfriend, and if he had wanted to read the advice. He said he absolutely wants to, but that right now isn't the right time to discuss how to handle his mother. All of our energy needs to go to his dad, and I understand that. I told him I support him mentally and that I know what he's going through. By the way, I know that you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Do you have any final thoughts?
I see a lot of people in the chat saying that she needs to be the one to go in and like say like, hey, this is what's going on? Do you like? I think to her, they're saying to the family.
Oh,
like if you're not seeing me as family, and that's not fair, and like all that kind of stuff.
yeah.
What's your thought? Like, I'm kind of torn on that because it's like, yeah, she needs to make her mind known to them, but is it her place?
I don't know if that would be effective.
Yeah, I don't think it would.
Especially right now, while they're dealing with the dad in the hospital and stuff. I feel like if you did that right now, they'd be like, wow, look.
Yeah.
You know, the American who doesn't know when to like, you know.
It's such a tough place
keep
with
their
the
mouth
dad
shut
in the hospital.
Yeah, I think that they would not react.
Yeah, okay.
To
some people,
situation.
Amy Lynn said, nope, his family, his responsibility.
Yeah,
That's
I agree.
more of my thoughts.
I agree. But there is a little bit left to this story. He understands that what his mother said and the way she behaved was insulting towards me and already mentioned something to her. She apologized to me and said she doesn't want me to feel this way and that right now we're all focusing on his dad. I still agree that there needs to be a deeper discussion about how she has acted, especially in the past, about pressing me to be Dutch. But I do see that now is not the right time. Over the past few days, his dad got worse. May have had a stroke. They are looking into it, doing a lot of routine tests, and for now, he is stable and doing well. It was a terrible accident, and the doctor said he is extremely lucky to be alive. And we are all thankful for that. And that is the end of that story, folks.
My boyfriend's parents keep playing favorites. Now I'm rethinking our marriage.
If I'm not your favorite, I'm out of here.
My boyfriend and I have been together for 3 years. We know each other well and are a good match for each other. We've even talked about marriage to the point where we both agree a proposal with an engagement ring and all is pointless and would rather elope at City Hall followed by a party for family and friends. By the way, this comes from throwaway462756, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, my boyfriend is the third of 4. He has 1 sister and 2 brothers. His parents are very nice people and have been nothing but kind to me. However, hearing my siblings-in-law speaking about how their parents chose favorites has really started to bug me and is making me wonder if I want to join families with him. His parents love the oldest brother above everyone else. The oldest brother is a successful professor, while the second brother is a teacher, and their youngest sister is training to become a nurse. My boyfriend is a manager of a restaurant, so he is fairly successful in his own right. So it's not like the parents are playing favorites because of a successful child. Some examples. When his second brother had twins, the in-laws-to-be were happy, but never took time out for them despite the fact that they are both retired. They never took the twins out on walks, to the park, or even to do the simple things that grandparents do. It's like they just sort of existed as pleasant small people. When my boyfriend had a child with his ex-wife, they gave him the same treatment. Loved the child, no doubt, but same sort of indifference. The Sibs-in-laws assumed that the parents were always like this and just chose to show their love in different ways. But then their oldest brother had a child with his wife, and then all of a sudden they became the most doting grandparents you'd ever seen. They'd have blow-up photos of this little lad all over the house, buy expensive designer baby clothes, even socks for him, and take him out for strolls and book baby photo shoots so they can put it in the family album.
Yeah, no, they definitely have favorites.
Yeah, especially if they're all living within the same area that it makes this possible.
Yeah. But also I'm still wondering why OP was like, and that's why I don't want to marry him. Because he's not his parents' favorite.
Why is that? Are you playing favorites?
Yeah. OP's like, I only marry favorite childs.
Only marry favorite children.
Only golden children.
They never did this for the twins or my stepson-to-be, and it's causing a huge drift between the brothers and sister. Not so much the sister because she is still young and not thinking about children, but she has expressed resentment and worries that her parents won't treat her child the same as recent little ones. This scares me. I'm not close to my own parents because of a history of so I've chosen to cut them out of my life. I want my potential children to have a good relationship with their grandparents and his/her half-brother, but I don't want to have a child with this man if it means that our child will be neglected in comparison to the golden child. And it is a huge stretch, but it's also making me worried. And I know this is irrational, but I'm afraid that my boyfriend will exhibit the same behavior towards any children that we might have, favoring our son/son-to-be over our own biological children. I don't want to start a family with this type of environment. What do I do? And we have an update.
Well, I mean,
I don't know why we're clumping boyfriend with the parents.
Yeah. I don't know. Have a conversation with him and say like, hey, I noticed your family's treatment. It seems pretty unfair. How do you feel about it?
Yep.
If your partner was super enmeshed with his parents and, siding with them over you, then I would say, yeah, this is not a great family dynamic. Even if you have a good relationship, he's always taking their side over yours. But that's not the case here. It's just that his parents have favorites and he's not the favorite.
Right. Is he favoring the one brother's child over the rest, or does he see them all?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Well, great news. They talked. Update. I sat down with the boyfriend to talk to him about my worries. I even had to write them down so I knew I would stay on topic. I worry that my boyfriend will think that I may turn out to be harmful, consciously or unconsciously, just like my parents, and whether this worries him about our future together. I worry that my in-laws' glaring preferential treatment of their eldest son and their grandson over the other siblings and grandchildren will take an effect on not only my fiance and stepson, but any other children that we might have in the future. I am afraid that I will come to resent them for not being present in our children's lives, as I have seen firsthand how they treat my stepson in comparison to their eldest son. My stepson is a great kid. He is in that child phase where all he loves to do is draw, draw, draw. He will draw all day, every day, scribbling pictures for everyone in the family and gifting them to each family member. He draws at least half a dozen pictures for me personally, and I keep them all in a box where I have his other work. His grandparents, though, will take a look at it, praise him, and a few days later, they will be discarded in the recycling bin. They don't even put a single one on the wall or the fridge before casually disposing of it, which breaks his heart. They don't have a single framed photo of stepson around the house. Oh my God!
You better have so many. Honestly, I feel like you could limit bringing this kid over if he's gonna have this treatment.
Well, her other whole thing though is that she wants him to have grandparents, but it's like, you want
him
this?
to have bad grandparents?
Yeah. So when I see them fawning over the child of their favorite son as if he were Prince George, yes, it does irritate me a bit. I subconsciously worry that my boyfriend will unconsciously follow his parents' ways of child favoring and do the same to our children, specifically the bio children we will have. I also understand that this is the most irrational worry that I have and is probably just me blowing it up in my head. I swear. I expect my boyfriend to love our children just as well as bonus son. Boyfriend expressed that yes, I was silly to worry that he would prefer one child over another. Of course, he would love all of them. With that said, he also expressed that he worried that since I didn't have the best family situation growing up, I didn't have a normal set of parents to look up to and model my behavior.
Dang, you both were ooh, you're probably not going to be a good parent because of your parents.
That's so rough.
Yeah.
So rough and so untrue.
You're both judging each other.
Yeah. He doesn't worry that I would be harmful like my parents, but he did confess that he did worry that I wouldn't exactly know how this parenting thing should work. Fair enough, because bonus son would be right in the picture from day one. Rightful that he should worry about my lack of skills, right? No, because you're currently his girlfriend who has been doing great with his son.
I don't know. I feel like if you had never been around his son, never taken care of his son, and then he was like, oh, she wants to start a family. Is she going to be ready? Maybe that's a different situation, but you've been around.
I've been there for 3 years.
You've been there for 3 years.
I asked him to help me out with that, and we agreed to take parenting classes together sometime in the new year. Solved. As for the biggest hurdle, the in-laws. Boyfriend expressed a huge amount of resentment towards his parents, which was surprising. He feels that the differential treatment between the twins and his own son compared to his nephew isn't healthy for anyone involved at all. We didn't get too much into it, but he did go on quite a bit of a rant about how his parents have treated his siblings, and now grandchildren, differently throughout their lives. Eldest brother had all his tuition paid for, so by the time his brother and sister came along, the parents had not saved any money for their educations, so they had to take out a line of credit. Later, we found out that they had a fund for his second brother that the parents gave to the eldest son so he could attend and finish graduate school. When eldest brother wanted to go on school trips, it was all paid for. With brother and sister and him, they had to save up with their part-time jobs. Parents made whole family attend eldest graduations, complete with family portraits. Not such a tight ship with the second brother or with him. By the time little sister graduated university, only he and his father went to the ceremony. God.
Wow, the favoritism is so
terrible.
Blatant.
Do not have this many kids if you're going to do this. Jeez.
Yeah. Bad parents.
When the twins were born, the parents would go over to their house to visit them almost every single time. When the golden boy was born, his mother would slave in the kitchen like a maid all day, making a fantastic dinner and invite the whole family over for their visits. I was there. It was an amazing effort she had put in and something that apparently the second brother resents to this day. But by the way, I'll never resent if you guys go to listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. We have an update, but what you thinking?
I just think that, yeah, keep having those conversations with your parent, not with your parents, with your partner, and get on the same page on how you want to raise kids. I like the parenting class idea. And stop silently judging each other for what your parents do. Like, you're not your parents.
Yeah. How have you guys not talked about that either?
Crazy.
Our conclusion was that I would stay out of this as this was a family matter between boyfriend, his siblings, and their parents. As I am not part of the family yet, I won't have an official say. Boyfriend has said he will deliver my feelings to his parents, but that he will be the main messenger. Apparently, this is a thing that has been bothering his siblings for a very, very long time, so perhaps this is the ball to get that discussion rolling. But again, I choose to stay out of this can of worms for now. And that's the end of that.
And there you go, man. There you go.